Here we go. All right. Hello, hello, everyday leaders. Welcome. We are on StreamYard today. I'm Melanie Ake with Everyday Leaders, and I welcome you to this broadcast because I am trying this new platform out called StreamYard. So I'm actually broadcasting from a web program, and it is going to my Everyday Leaders group page on Facebook, my regular Melanie Qualls Ake page, my Everyday Leaders 50 and 50 podcast page, and LinkedIn. And so I think this is the first time that I've included LinkedIn in the stream, and I'm super excited because I have another LinkedIn junkie with me today. And for those of you that do not know this woman, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to share what she's doing. Jennifer Garrett, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Mel, it's great to be with you today.
Oh my gosh, we connected on LinkedIn and she joined me on my podcast this year because she wrote a book called Move the Ball. And I'll let her tell you about this. It's all about strategy and the things that she's got going on now. And I want you to talk about some of the recent things you've done with the global LinkedIn summit that you went to, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my book Move the Ball is really about helping individuals take principles from the game of American football and apply them off the field to be successful in whatever goals you may have, whether that's a personal goal, running your business, or just navigating your career.
And it is, I'm just checking, I'm just looking at something here real quick. Um,
Sure.
yeah, and so the big thing is, we all talk about strategy, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's hockey, whether it's soccer, like these principles that you teach us in your book and that you're really now becoming an expert in. And so you've made it a platform and you're going to go teach this all over the world about how you've learned these strategies can help you be successful in your life. And so I think that's so important because who doesn't love sports, right?
Right. And there's so much we can take away from any sport, not just football, but football as well just has so many lessons outside of the teamwork and the resiliency. I mean, any sport's going to give you that, any team sport, but there's just a lot of other concepts that I talk about. For example, one of them is how we all have fourth down moments in our lives, and we need to decide, is it the right time to continue on? Or maybe I need to punt and come back to that later on. And so in the book and some of my teachings, I walk people through how they can figure that out for themselves.
Hmm. And it is so important because there are so many tips, right? When you think about, and you've got a group called In the Huddle, which I
Yes.
absolutely love. So talk to me about how you designed that.
Yeah. So, first of all, Inside the Huddle is about bringing together a community because none of us, no matter how accomplished we are, have done it alone. There's always been people who have helped us, whether they're championing us and been emotional supporters, or they're actually people who are making plays happen for us. We don't accomplish our goals on our own. And so that's kind of why I got the thought of Inside the Huddle as being the title for the program. And really it's a community where I teach and train on various different topics to really help people move that ball forward and also give them that support and that accountability that they may be looking for.
Oh, accountability. That's huge. I know you just posted something today, and I love this because many times, as people that want to achieve, big time achievers, we're all like, "Oh, I'm going to do this." And
Mhm.
I'm telling you, and you're going to keep me accountable to it. But the skill that you taught today that you talked about was just write it down, right? Just write it down.
Yes. Right. Yes. And when you write something down, the likelihood of you doing it and actually completing the task is so much greater than if you just have it in your head. And the reason for that is life gets in the way, right? There's so many distractions nowadays. There's so many people competing for our time. And so if you have it written down, it's something visual that you can see and say, oh, yeah, I still have to do that today. And so it's a great reminder that, hey, let me get back on track if I've gotten off track and keep working on whatever it is that task or that project or that goal is.
And it's so easy if you write it down. You can, as you said, look at a book, right? Put it in your journal, put it in your daytime or whatever that looks like, or put it in your phone and just say, look, to keep me accountable, do this one thing every day. Get up and do this one thing. Start your day off like that. and you can be a little bit more focused, right? In the storm of sometimes so much noise comes at us, especially this time of year, because we're thinking about Halloween and if you have kids, right? All the activities that
Mhm.
they have to be in. And you know that because you have several kids. Not just
I
1,
do.
not just 2, not just 3, not just 4. You have a slew.
Yes, I have five of them.
So keeping it organized at this time of year, thinking about the holidays, right? All these things that are coming at us that we have to just kind of balance, and it can be overwhelming for people sometimes. And I know you travel. You travel a ton, Jen. And so, how do you keep it for yourself, right? How do you keep yourself focused on the tips that you use? What are the things that you do yourself?
Yeah, so the first thing that I do every morning is I get organized in my mind as well as on paper. So from a mindset standpoint, I tell myself every morning that I will suit up, I will show up, and I will move the ball no matter what happens today because we can have great intentions for the day and then something happens, right? And kind of takes us off track. So I tell myself that because no matter what happens, I'm going to make sure that at the end of the day, I am smiling at myself in the mirror before I go to bed because I know that I've made today a good day. And sometimes I don't get everything that I want done because life happens, right? But I'm going to make sure that I can say, yes, today was a good day and I got almost everything done, if not everything. So it's the mindset first and foremost. And then I also think about, okay, what are the no kidding things that I need to get done today? And I write those down. And those are the things that I spend my time on. And I say no to the things that are not on that list. And I'll come back and do other things as I have time, but I've got my critical set of tasks that I'm going to work on, and those take the priority.
Mm,
And when you use this power of no, as I call it, and I've posted about before, that really helps you gain control of your day because you're qualifying who and what you're allowing to consume your time.
mhm. And that is such a hard thing for many people to do, right? To just say no and to prioritize yourself. And so when you do it, you're traveling a ton. And so I'm sure it didn't come easy for you to learn that, right? It took you a while to kind of set up your own process, to say, this is what's really critically important. These are the things that I have to get done so I can function. And I think that's kind of the key, I don't know, the the balance, if you will, for many people, because in today's world, we have to do so many things, the expectations that we keep it all together, right? And I'm not just saying women are better at this because we have to juggle, right? We have to juggle the family and we have to juggle the kids and we have to juggle the career maybe, or organizing everything at home and just keeping it structured, right? Getting to the grocery and making the
Mhm.
food, and so there's so many things that we have to think about. And so then, and you organize it so that you're running it smoothly and everything just kind of falls into place as it should if you focus on the right things. And so I want to give people the encouragement, right, to say they can do this too. If life seems a little overwhelming right now as we come into this season of the year,
Mhm.
to kick it off, right? To kick off your life in the right direction. And you've got some great things that you're learning. So I want to ask you, this 40 days of purpose that you did and that you're doing on
Mhm.
Facebook, you went to this global LinkedIn summit. And so I just want to talk to you about what you did, how you got connected to that, what you learned from it, and then what you took away.
Sure. So, first and foremost, social media, whatever platforms you're on, is a great way to just connect with amazing people across the globe. I mean, I've met people on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn specifically. And so, take advantage of those platforms because it's not just about you posting about what you ate for breakfast, right? Or what your kids did or how you're going crazy today. It's about connecting with great people and learning from them. So, that's the beauty of being on social media. So, the LinkedIn Global event, I learned about someone from LinkedIn had reached out to me and said, "Hey, we'd love to have you come to our event." And so they told me there was going to be between 1,000 and 3,000 people there. And at first I thought, that's a lot of people. Are they really going to have that many people in one room? And sure enough, this was a fantastically run event. There were over 1,000 people there. I got to connect and meet in person some people that I had been engaging with online for quite some time. So that was amazing. And the way this 40 Days of Purpose came about was I had shared with a guy that I had known, Chris Jackson. He and I had been connected on LinkedIn and Facebook, never met before. And I said, Chris, I really need to get out of my comfort zone and get on video. And I just haven't been doing it. And I know I need to do it. And so later in the evening, we were talking with some other people, and they were talking about how everyone's doing 10 tips in 10 days. And so we needed to do something different. And Chris came up with the 40 Days of Purpose. And so we all said, all right, let's do it. And then we were like, oh my, that's a big goal to do 40 days, 40 videos in 40 days. But I am on day 36. So I have consistently done a video every day for 36 days, and I'm in the home stretch.
And you're in the home stretch, and and you've learned through that. So tell me, what has that taught you just about your own consistency? Because I know you say we get up every day, we write these things down, but
Mhm.
really functionally committing to doing that, that's a big task.
It is. And I will say that I'll be glad when it's over just because I'm ready for a short break. I'll continue to do video. But for me, this is really about me getting out of my comfort zone and getting comfortable on camera. And for me, it was letting go of the fear of judgment. And when I just said, you know what, I don't care. People are going to judge me. It's not going to be perfect. I'm going to suck at it, but I'm going to get better. I was ready to go. And having that commitment is key. And, as I started doing it, I started getting more into it. I was getting great support, which is helpful, right? And I looked forward to doing the videos. And so what I've learned is, you may suck at something in the beginning, and that's okay, because it's just like, and I posted about this before, it's like riding a bicycle. You're not going to
Mhm.
be perfect at it the first time around, right? But it's that continual repetition that's going to get you better at something. And that's for anything, no matter what skill or what activity you're looking to do. You're not going to be perfect at it the first time around. And
Mhm.
so about consistency. So one of the things that I recently did was I talked about why people don't have habits in their life that stick over the long term. And one of the reasons is they're just too casual about it, meaning that they're not really committed to making the change. And so for me, this video series was a new thing for me, and I was committed to it. But I thought every morning, why is this important to me? And I connected it to the purpose. And when you connect what you're doing to your purpose, it's a lot easier to stay consistent than if you don't have that connection.
It is so true, right? The big why, the big
Mhm.
why. And I know, and so for you, right, you're an attorney. Many people don't know you have many degrees. You are a lifelong learner, and you have decided, because this is your journey, you feel like this is your connection to bring people along with you. And so I don't know if many people know this, but you're getting ready to do your journey full time. You're getting
I
ready to
am.
step into this. And
Yes.
so we have talked so much after we connected, we did the podcast, and we have continued to just intentionally connect to say, what can we do? How are we growing together? Because now these like-minded spirits connect, right?
Mhm.
And you said, I'm creating this program. And I thought, oh, good for you. And I cannot wait to help you share that and kick it off, because you have designed this inside the huddle. But now I want you to tell people what's next.
Yeah, so Inside the Huddle is a program that I've created a training session for every first of the month, and then there's worksheets to really help people kind of apply the training in their lives. The thing that I just announced was I also created a mailing list called The Next First Down, and if I can share why I chose that name, I'll tell you in
Absolutely.
a second. But really, through this 40 Days of Purpose series, I've gotten just amazing support from people I've never known before. People have been reaching out saying, I'm following your videos, I'm loving your content. And I thought, since I'm going off and doing this, let me do more and step up my game. So I created a mailing list where I give even more tips and strategies on how to move that ball forward and live a more joyful and happier life. And I called the website The Next First Down. Com. And the reason for that, not only so it would have a football tie, but is because in life, as in football, it's about getting the next first downs, not always trying to get into the end zone on every single play. It's step by step, right? Yard by yard, getting that next first down, figuring out what your strategy is going to be to get that next first down. And eventually you will get into the end zone and you will cross that goal line.
That's so awesome. So many people, right? They go into life, they go into a strategy, they go into a meeting, they go into whatever, like a new job, or we could even say the holiday, right? They think about, I got to get the Christmas tree out. I got to, I've got to do all these things. They get overwhelmed instead of, what do I have to do today? What's going to get me success today, right? And so I love how you break that down because many times coaches, will be the ones to help somebody through that. But this is super easy, right? Thinking
Mhm,
about just anything that you can apply to that is taking it and breaking it down in pieces and baby steps, right? So that it is achievable. Because in life, right, if we can feel like we're confident and that "Well, I did that," right? You can put that on the board. You can give yourself a star, whatever that looks
mhm,
like for you, so that you can say, "Great, now what is the next step? What's the next down, right? What's the next 10 yards in my life that I need to do to be to get to the end line, to get to the goal?" And so many of these analogies, I think, however people connect, right? And I heard something the other day that said, everybody's a life coach today. Everybody wants to be a life coach. And I think what's great about that statement that someone recognized, and I think they were trying to downplay it, but I think social media has given us all the opportunity to say, this is how I connect to the world. And this is how I think I can help other people connect to the world because it's your experience. And so doing that and expressing that outwardly, people can say, "Yeah, I understand that. That analogy makes sense to me." And so I think you're the one that can help me. You're the one that can help push me. You can help pull me.
mhm.
You can help me create that new strategy for what I'm trying to achieve. And so I love this process to go through it and just to think about like, okay, what does that look like? And so having a platform, right, and these notes and these emails are really great for people to keep them accountable, like we said in the very beginning.
Yes.
So tell me, what else? Like you're traveling around all the time, and you do workshops, and you talk to groups, and so where you've been lately, um, what is the theme of the workshops that you've been doing lately? And what are you looking to do for the next, 30, 60, 90 days that we can help you with?
Sure, yeah. So the theme of the workshops that I've done recently, they all have a move the ball theme, right? Because that's my platform and kind of the umbrella of the messages. But there's a lot of focus on the ownership and accountability part of it, as well as the productivity part. I call it managing the game clock. And the reason I use that analogy is, in a football game, you've got 60 minutes of regulation, right? Playing time. And the teams that do well, even when they are trailing in the second half, are the ones that can effectively manage the game clock while they're executing their strategies to try to put points on the board. And for us, we don't have 60 minutes in our life, right? But we have our own game clock, our own timelines that we're trying to accomplish certain goals. And so we have to align our strategies with that time frame and make sure that we're spending each of those minutes very intentionally. And so oftentimes people will confuse being busy with being productive.
Mm,
Or they'll think that because I'm moving around, I'm making progress. But the question is, are you really working on the right things that are moving you forward? Right. And so that's a big part of what I talk through with groups is how do you make sure that you're focusing yourself and your teams on the right activities for whatever the goals are of the organization or your individual goals?
mhm. And it's so critical. You can talk about culture. Right now, we talk about company and corporate culture
Mhm,
because if everybody can be on the same page, and so as I'm studying the book of Proverbs, I do this
mhm,
monthly mastermind, and we're studying this. And Proverbs the other day talked about an audible, and so I'm like,
mhm.
okay, Jen, you're in my
Yes.
ear.
Yes.
And so for people that don't follow football, they don't understand Audible. You taught on this the other day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to go really understand her perspective on this." So
Mhm.
talk about that a little bit because I think that's really critical.
Sure, yeah, and audible, for those that don't know in football, basically the offense lines up, they see the way the defense is lined up on the field, they may not like that defensive formation, and so instead of running the play or the strategy that they were going to initially run, they call an audible and they switch it up. And that's so representative of our life as well. Sometimes we have our game plan, then something happens like, this is not the right landscape to execute this, and we have to shift and pivot as needed. And so it's a very important part of being able to move forward in our lives, that flexibility, that adaptability.
It's so important. And, learning those strategies again, when we talk about that, it can apply to everything in our life. So when you learn that at a corporate workshop and Jen teaches you that and you say, great, okay, I can do that with my team at work, but that's also applicable to your life, right? so,
Yes, absolutely.
so many times we say, well, I use that at work because I got to go to a workshop, but then transferring that into your daily routine. And so that's what you do best because you're managing, you're changing your career, you're jumping into this full time. You really believe in the platform that you've created and writing this book and teaching these classes. And it's so easy because if you believe in the Chicago Bears, you don't have to be a Bears fan, but you'll get a lot further with you if you are. Because, it's all about that connection. So,
Right. And I like the fact that you emphasize the applicability to your life, because the things that I do teach, I do work with organizations in the corporate setting, but I also focus on how it applies off the field, if you will, in your personal lives. Because at the end of the day, we do go to work, but that's only one aspect of our life. But there's a lot more that we have going on, our families, our personal goals, whatever those outside of our career aspirations may be. And so when I created my Move the Ball framework and concepts, it was really important for me to show how that applies to the whole picture and not just the business setting.
mhm. And that's really critical. I think many of us for years, right, we go into a career, we go to college maybe, or we just take a technical trade and we start doing the things that we are feeling pulled to. And at some point, some of us recognize, hey, I've got some gifts that I need to use outside of my work. And sometimes that is a guilt thing, right? Sometimes we feel like we have a side hustle and sometimes the work has a conflict with it. But if it's your passion and it's pulling you, like use those strategies that you use in your corporate environment. Take those home and be able to create your own space, maybe your own company, maybe your own, platform. And so it's all about using your passion and the strategies, right? Setting it up for success and taking baby steps, doing one thing at a time towards the things that you really want to achieve in your life. Because it doesn't have to look the same as it does today if you don't want it to. You can do something completely different.
Right. And I think a lot of times people think that they have to have their life look one way, or they feel like they just need to settle, because that's kind of what we're taught, right? Like,
Mm,
go get a job, you know, support your family, but we don't talk enough about, are you doing the things that are really important to you? That doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur. You could be working for somebody, but are you working for somebody in a position that excites you and really motivates you to want to be there every day? And I think there's so many people that get that wrong,
mm,
because they just feel like work is not supposed to be something that I like. It's supposed to be that a place that I go, right? I come to work, I do my day, and then I leave, and then I go home and see my family and I watch TV. But it should all be integrated together and something that you enjoy doing from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Of course, there's going to be chaos and bad days in there, right? But in general, you should really be excited about everything that you're doing.
I know. And it's not easy. And so as we sit here and preach it, it's like, yes, we believe in it and we can be positive. And this isn't the highlight reel. Like we get it. It
Mhm.
is really a struggle. But the thing is, if you develop something every single day that you can use and that you can rely on and that you can be accountable to, you can really have the life of success that you want. And so I think this is really the message that I wanted people to connect to you, to be able to say, hey, if I really believe Jen's story, I'm going to help you, right? Connect to
Mhm.
people that say, I want to move the ball. I need that ball. I need that accountability. I want you to come out and train at one of my workshops and really infuse that leadership principle in what they're doing to achieve. And I think you are a great person to be able to do that for them.
Oh, well, thank you. And you had asked me earlier, kind of where am I going next? One of the things I'm really looking at doing is doing more web-based training, so I don't have to always go on an
Hmm.
airplane. But that's also helpful for the organization, because it allows us to connect with their employees globally versus just all being in one room. So you're saving and travel costs, employees don't have to travel to a location, and there's a larger reach. So that's a big focus. So if anybody is looking to do some trainings with their organization and they're open to a web-based format, I'd love to connect.
Absolutely. Well, Jen, thank you so much for taking just a few minutes today. I know this is kind of at the end of the day for everybody, but this is such a valuable teaching and a valuable lesson. And, for people that are ready to get off of their platform and say, I'm ready to do something, I'm ready to do it today and connect to you. We're going to put all the links in here for how they can join your program, how they can get on your mailing list. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you in my little tribe. It's so great.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad that we've connected and that we're still in touch. And I love everything that you're doing with Everyday Leaders, and you are amazing.
It's going to be fun. And hopefully, for any of you that are coming to the Leadership Summit on February 29th, I'm really hoping that Jen can make it and you can meet her live and connect to her too. So,
I am planning on being there. So, yes, that would be great to meet everyone.
yay. Well, thank you very much for your time on this Monday, this crazy Monday morning, heading into the end of October, right? So here we go, guys. Get ready for 2020. Move the ball in your life. Get connected to Jen and let her help you with those strategies to be accountable to yourself and your family and your work and be a better leader in your life. So very awesome.
Thank you again for having me on.
Yep. Have a great afternoon, Jen.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.